You ever have one of those moments where everything just clicks? Where you feel the energy, the connection, the pulse of the moment. And suddenly it's not just about the act, it's about something deeper. Let's talk about that. Because if you notice this one thing during sex, it's not just passion, it's a complete game changer. See, most people think intimacy is just about pleasure. They think it's about technique, timing, or performance. But that surface level, real connection, the kind that transforms you, doesn't come from the body first, it comes from the mind. From the energy, it's when two people are not just touching bodies but souls. When you start to notice that what's happening between you isn't just physical, it's emotional, mental, and even spiritual. That's when everything changes. Presence changes everything. When you're truly in the moment during intimacy, something powerful happens. You stop thinking about how you look, how you sound, or whether you're doing it right. You stop performing and start experiencing. The energy in the room shifts. It's like time slows down, and suddenly every movement, every breath, every heartbeat feels connected. Presence is not just about being physically there, it's about mental and emotional stillness. It's about letting go of distractions, insecurities, and the endless noise of your thoughts, so you can feel the person in front of you completely, deeply, and without filters. When you're truly present, you give your partner the rarest thing of all, your full attention. And that's something most people crave more than physical pleasure. Because what people truly want in intimacy is to feel seen, to feel understood, to feel that they matter. When you're not distracted or detached, when your eyes, your hands, your voice all speak the same silent message. I'm here with you. That's when connection begins to deepen. You can sense the shift almost immediately. The air gets heavier, the silence feels charged, and suddenly it's not about lust. It's about energy alignment. Presence creates safety. It tells your partner that they can let go, that they don't need to hide behind walls or pretend to be someone they're not. And that's what makes the experience unforgettable. Because when two people are fully present, there's no judgment, there's no rush, there's just flow. That's when intimacy becomes art, raw, spontaneous, and real. You start noticing things you never noticed before. The rhythm of their breath, the warmth of their skin, the softness in their eyes when they look at you. You're not in your head, you're in the moment, and that's where the magic lies. Most people don't realize this. But presence is what separates connection from contact. You can touch someone's body 100 times and never touch their soul. But when you're fully present, even the smallest gesture, a look, a whisper, a touch, can speak louder than words, because presence makes everything mean more. It turns simple acts into expressions of love, curiosity, and understanding. You stop chasing pleasure and start creating it. You stop trying to get something from the moment and start giving to it. And ironically, that's when the most profound pleasure begins. Presence is also about surrender, letting go of control. So many people carry tension, fears, or expectations into intimacy. They're worried about being perfect or about what their partner is thinking. But presence doesn't demand perfection. It just asks for truth. It asks you to show up as you are, with your flaws, your vulnerability, your authenticity. When you do that, intimacy stops being a performance and becomes a conversation. A wordless exchange of trust, emotion, and energy. That's the kind of intimacy that lingers long after the moment ends. It's not about the physical act. It's about the emotional imprint it leaves behind. When you learn to be present, you start realizing how rare it is. How often we live distracted, disconnected, half awake. But when you're truly there, not thinking about tomorrow, not regretting yesterday, you step into something timeless. You feel alive. You feel free. You feel connected to another human being in a way that reminds you what love really means. And that's the real secret. Presence turns ordinary moments in extraordinary experiences. It turns sex into connection and connection into transformation. Because the truth is, presence is love in its purest form. It says, I'm here. I'm not somewhere else. You have my focus, my breath, my heart. And when you bring that kind of presence into intimacy, it changes everything. It deepens trust, ignites passion, and creates a bond that words can't describe. So if you ever find yourself in that moment where time fades, where everything feels still and alive all at once, don't overthink it. Don't question it. Just feel it. Because that's what true connection feels like. That's the power of presence. And once you experience it, nothing less will ever satisfy you again. Emotional connection is the real pleasure. It's the invisible heartbeat of intimacy. The thing that makes the difference between something that feels empty and something that feels electric. When emotion enters the room, the entire experience transforms. It stops being about desire and starts being about depth. Emotional connection is what turns touch into tenderness, eye contact into communication, and silence into understanding. Without it, even the most passionate encounter can feel hollow. But with it, even the simplest touch can make you feel alive. When you're emotionally connected with someone, you don't have to say much. The energy speaks for you. You can feel their mood, their rhythm, their hesitation, their excitement. You can sense when they need closeness and when they need space. That's because emotional connection tunes you into your partner's frequency. It's empathy in motion, an unspoken language where your emotions begin to synchronize. And when that happens, intimacy stops being a physical act and becomes an emotional experience. You start to feel what they feel. You start to move in harmony without planning or effort. That's not just attraction, that's emotional alignment. People underestimate how powerful emotional connection really is. It's the foundation of true intimacy, not chemistry, not performance, not technique. Those things fade, but emotion lasts. Because when two people connect emotionally, they create safety. And in that safety, real pleasure blooms. The kind that doesn't come from chasing stimulation, but from surrendering to trust. When you trust someone with your body and your emotions, it's liberating. You stop holding back. You stop pretending. You stop worrying about whether you're enough. You just are, and being accepted in that raw, vulnerable space is one of the most powerful experiences a person can have. Emotional connection also brings authenticity. When you feel emotionally safe with someone, you show them who you really are. You let them see your soft parts, your fears, your insecurities, and they don't run from them. They hold them, they understand them, they cherish them. That's where love is born. Because love isn't found in perfect bodies or flawless moments. It's found in emotional honesty. It's found when two people choose to connect, even when it's uncomfortable. It's found when you realize that your partner's presence is not about possession, but about partnership. That's what emotional connection teaches you. That intimacy is not about taking something, it's about sharing yourself. When you connect emotionally, the energy between you feels different. You're not trying to impress, you're trying to express. You're not performing, you're feeling. Every touch carries intention. Every kiss feels like communication. That's what makes emotional connection the real pleasure. It's not measured by intensity, but by meaning. It's the difference between lust and love, between craving someone's body and understanding their soul. And when you experience that, it changes the way you see intimacy forever. You begin to crave connection over chaos. You begin to seek peace over passion that burns too fast. You begin to realize that the most fulfilling moments are the ones that feel both calm and alive. And here's the most beautiful part. Emotional connection deepens over time. The more you open up, the more you trust, the stronger it gets. You start to recognize that true pleasure isn't about chasing excitement. It's about creating emotional safety where both of you can be free. Because when you feel emotionally secure, your body relaxes, your mind quiets, and your heart opens. That's when the real magic happens. Pleasure flows effortlessly because it's coming from a place of peace, not pressure. The truth is, emotional connection is the soul of passion. It's the heartbeat that keeps love alive long after the physical fades. It's what makes two people look at each other and feel gratitude instead of expectation. It's what makes you miss them not just for what they do, but for who they are. When you find that kind of connection, protect it, nurture it, because it's rare. And when you notice it during intimacy, when you feel that emotional pull, that sense of safety, that undeniable closeness, that's when you know it's real. That's when you realize this isn't just pleasure, this is something sacred. That's the game changer. Energy exchange is the true language of intimacy. Every touch, every glance, every breath you share with another person carries energy. And that energy tells the truth, even when words don't. Most people go through intimacy focusing on what's happening on the outside, but the real magic happens in what's being transferred between two souls. You can feel it. When the energy between you and your partner flows freely, everything feels effortless. The room feels lighter, your body feels more alive, and your heart feels grounded. That's when you know this isn't just physical. This is something far more powerful. When two people connect through energy, the experience becomes almost spiritual. It's as if you both step into a different frequency where words are unnecessary and feelings take over. You can sense their emotions before they speak them. You can feel when they're holding back or when they've completely surrendered. That's because your energies are communicating. And when those energies align, you create something sacred. A bond that doesn't just live in the moment, but lingers in your spirit long after it's over. Energy is invisible, but its impact is undeniable. You can fake words, you can fake gestures, but you can never fake energy. It always tells the truth. The energy you bring into intimacy shapes everything. If you come in with insecurity, fear, or resentment, that's what your partner will feel. If you come with love, confidence, and openness, that's the vibration you both will rise to. That's why being mindful of your emotional state matters so much. Intimacy is an exchange, not a performance. You're giving and receiving energy constantly. Every time you touch someone, you're leaving a piece of your energy with them, and they're doing the same with you. That's why after being with someone, you can either feel fulfilled and peaceful or drained and empty. The quality of the energy you exchange determines the impact it leaves behind. When you're aligned with someone energetically, there's no need for force or effort. Everything flows naturally. The way you move together, the rhythm you create, even the silence between you, it all feels synchronized. It's not about dominance or submission, not about who's leading or following. It's about harmony, it's about balance. You both give and receive equally, without competition, without ego. That kind of connection is rare because it requires both people to be present, grounded, and authentic. When you're in that space, your energy becomes one. It's almost like you can feel your souls breathing together. This is why energy awareness is such a game changer. Once you start noticing it, you'll never approach intimacy the same way again. You'll begin to value quality over quantity, depth over desire. You'll start to understand that not everyone deserves access to your energy, because not everyone will treat it with care. Your energy is sacred, and when you share it with someone, you're letting them into your spiritual space. So choose wisely. Protect your peace. Share yourself with those who honor your essence, not just your body. Because when you exchange energy with the right person, it doesn't drain you. It elevates you. You feel healed, connected, and renewed. That's what true intimacy feels like. And here's what most people don't realize. Energy exchange doesn't stop when the moment ends. It stays with you. That's why some people leave you feeling inspired and others leave you feeling heavy. The vibration of that exchange lingers. So, if you want to create meaningful connections, focus on your vibration before anything else. Bring calmness, love, and authenticity into the moment, and it will transform the energy between you. When your intention is pure and your energy is aligned, the connection becomes more than pleasure. It becomes purpose. Energy exchange is the unseen conversation that happens between souls. It's what makes intimacy healing, powerful, unforgettable. When you notice it, when you truly feel it, you'll understand that sex isn't about control or possession. It's about merging energies in trust and harmony. That's when two people stop being separate and become one vibration, one heartbeat, one experience. That's the real language of love. And once you learn to speak it, you'll never settle for anything less. Real intimacy leads to transformation. It's not just something that happens in a moment. It's something that changes you from the inside out. When intimacy is genuine, when it's not just physical, but emotional and spiritual, it becomes a mirror. It shows you who you really are. It reflects your insecurities, your desires, your fears, and your capacity for love. It teaches you where you're still guarded and where you're willing to open up. It's not always easy, because real intimacy strips away the masks. It forces you to be honest, not just with your partner, but with yourself. And that's why it's transformational, because it's through that vulnerability that growth begins. When you allow yourself to connect deeply with another person, you begin to evolve. You stop approaching intimacy as a transaction and start seeing it as an opportunity for healing and self-discovery. You learn what it means to trust, to surrender, to let go of control. And in doing so, you unlock parts of yourself that you didn't even know existed. Real intimacy isn't just about passion, it's about awakening. It awakens empathy, patience, tenderness, and the ability to be fully present with someone without judgment or fear. It's through those moments that you begin to transform emotionally and spiritually. You begin to understand that love isn't about possession. It's about connection. It's about giving without losing yourself and receiving without guilt. Transformation through intimacy happens when you start valuing the energy more than the experience. When you realize that what you share with another person can either heal or harm, you become more intentional. You begin to protect your peace, honor your boundaries, and choose partners who match your vibration. That's growth. Because real intimacy requires two people who are both self-aware and emotionally mature. It's not about taking energy. It's about exchanging it in a way that uplifts both souls. You begin to see that the deeper the connection, the more clarity you gain about yourself, what you need, what you value, what you're capable of giving. And here's the truth. Transformation doesn't always come wrapped in comfort. Sometimes intimacy exposes the parts of you that still need healing. It reminds you of old wounds, of moments you've avoided, of emotions you've suppressed. But that's the beauty of it. Because when intimacy is real, it creates a safe space for that healing to happen. When someone holds you without judgment, listens to your silence, or looks at you with genuine care, something inside you shifts. You begin to release the pain you've been carrying. You begin to believe that you're worthy of love that doesn't hurt, love that doesn't demand, love that doesn't fade when things get real. That realization alone can change your entire life. Transformation through intimacy also changes how you see others. You stop seeking shallow validation. You stop chasing attention. You start craving depth, conversations that matter, touch that feels sincere, and relationships that feed your soul instead of draining it. You become more compassionate, more grounded, more self-assured. You stop needing others to complete you because you begin to feel whole on your own. Real intimacy doesn't take away your power. It helps you reclaim it. It reminds you that love is not weakness. Vulnerability is strength. And once you embrace that, you stop running from connection and start embracing it as part of your growth. The more you experience true intimacy, the more it refines your spirit. You start walking differently, speaking differently, loving differently. Because once your soul has tasted real connection, it refuses to settle for empty encounters. You start recognizing that love and intimacy are not meant to consume you. They're meant to expand you. They're meant to elevate your energy, align you with peace, and bring you closer to your purpose. That's the kind of transformation that lasts. So if you ever notice that your experiences with someone are making you softer, wiser, calmer, that's not coincidence. That's transformation. That's what happens when intimacy becomes sacred. It's no longer about pleasure, it's about evolution. You're not just sharing a moment, you're sharing growth. You're teaching each other how to love deeper, trust harder, and live more honestly. And that's the ultimate game changer. When love stops being something you fall into and becomes something that lifts you higher.